it's better to have a nice asynchronous workflow where nobody's rushing to do something just for the sake of rushing to. There's so much rushing to do stuff just for the sake of rushing to do stuff. I've been talking about remote work. I've been talking about turning off notifications. I've been talking about working asynchronously, which I think is really important. You know, a lot of the time you might have a client that would say, well, we need this live today, or we need this live tomorrow, or we need whatever. I think a lot of the time they don't really. If there's a very specific reason, then yeah. 9 times out of 10, people want things to move as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible, and they want to get the most bang for their buck. 9 times out of 10. 1 time out of 10, there's a very specific time-related deadline which needs to be respected. But 9 times out of 10, I think when somebody says, well, we need this to go live on X day, they don't actually need that. And it's funny, I personally, even though I'm always ranting about this, I experienced this as a client. So as I'm building out my content team for this content accelerator thing, when I do a stream and then we put it into post-production and tweets and link posts and things start going out, I was like, well, I really want them to go out same day. I was like, you know, I felt, I don't know if I said this exactly, but I was like, I think I said something to the effect of like, well, I need these to go live today, right? Like exactly what I'm saying, you know, isn't true. But when you put your client hat on, you're in a certain frame of mind, and you do want it to go live because like you're investing in something and you want it to be out there, right? So I literally did this myself, and then I realized, I was like, you know, actually it's probably a better overall workflow if I record the stream today, I put the things into post-production, and then like within 1 business day or whatever, we get them out. Once you have that workflow going, I am going to have things going out every day. They're just staggered by a day, and it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter if they're staggered by a day. It's better to have a nice asynchronous workflow where nobody's rushing to do something just for the sake of rushing to. There's so much rushing to do stuff just for the sake of rushing to do stuff. A lot of times you don't really need it. I experienced that myself. I didn't really need it. Instead, I changed it to an asynchronous workflow where I'm still having stuff go out every day. It is important to have stuff go out consistently every day. What's not important, that the thing going out today is the thing that was recorded today. It could be the thing that was recorded yesterday. And the same thing applies to any workflow. If you're an e-commerce agency, you know, like get into a nice workflow where you're pushing stuff every week, right? So like client might say on Thursday, oh, this thing is really important to get out on Friday, right? And unless there's a real specific reason, I would say follow your process. So if your process is we do a code freeze on Thursday, you know, or if your process is we do a code freeze on Wednesday, we push code on Thursday, we don't push code on Fridays, follow that same process. Say, listen, let's slot this for next week, right? And then we'll get it out there. We'll make sure it's QA'd, not, you know, thoroughly. And whenever you follow your standard process, quality is going to be higher, because when you rush to do things, you make mistakes. And so when you follow a nice established process, you can make sure that everything's tested nicely, everything's done well, and stuff like that. So anyway, that is that topic.